5 things to know for Tokyo 2020. My name's Ken Hanscom, and I've actually been on a break for the past few weeks. Fortunately, I had the opportunity to head over to the island of Maui and enjoy a week off there. But so much has happened in the last few weeks, and so we're going to continue our series. We're going to run it weekly all the way up until we get to Tokyo 2020, which is hard to believe, almost only 8 months off. So with that, let's go ahead and get to number 1. Over the past several weeks, there's been a lot of news coming out about the potential for international fans at Tokyo 2020. Some of the best guidance I've seen came out yesterday from Kingdom Sports, where they really detail what the different triggers and timeframes are in terms of the decision for international fans. What the current thinking is that if the current restrictions into Japan continue into summer, there would be the potential for exceptions to be granted for those who already have tickets. And of course, that'll be subject to social distancing and other countermeasures against COVID-19. And I know there also is a lot of hope on the horizon as we see vaccines start to get approved and also distributed over the coming months. But here's a link to the article that you'll see right here, as well as in the subject below. Check it out. It's the most insightful and the most direct in terms of the roadmap for the next few months in terms of what we're likely to see with international fans. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2. The next piece of major news was that 800,000 tickets were returned by residents of Japan to Tokyo 2020. And as I've talked about, there's really 2 ways to look at that. And I look at it the second way, but let's first talk about the first way. Oh my goodness, 800,000 tickets were returned. Tokyo 2020 is in trouble. That's roughly 20% of what was sold. But there's also another way to look at, which is, gosh, only 20% of the tickets, given the uncertainty for next summer, were returned. The residents of Japan must be really excited still about the opportunity for Tokyo 2020. I think it's more of the latter. I think one of the things that we have to remember, there hasn't been an on sale yet in Japan. And so the only way that you could get tickets was through a lottery. And a lot of the tickets that people got weren't necessarily the sessions or the events that they wanted to go to. So if you're sitting here saying, hey, I think there's a chance there may or may not be next summer, and I'm sitting on some tickets to an event that I really don't want to go to, why wouldn't you return them? So as I look at it in the roadmap, it looks like, to me, a very positive news in terms of what's happening there. I think the other positive piece of it is that's additional 800,000 tickets that if social distancing has to be put in place, that gives the committee additional flexibility in terms of understanding how they can place fans at various events to do that. So that provides them a little bit extra flexibility, because now we're at roughly a total of 50% of all the tickets have been sold. So that's it for this item. Let's move on to number 3. So let's talk about the ticket situation. Say you're a fan, you hadn't planned to go to Tokyo 2020, maybe you had a commitment last summer that you had previously planned to go to before COVID-19 kind of slowed down the world quite a bit. And now you're looking at Tokyo 2020 and 21, and you're saying, you know what, I'd really like to go. How can I get tickets? Well, your opportunity to tickets are going to be really limited until we get to the April-May timeframe. And there's really, I guess, 3 reasons for that. The first reason is that all the first rounds of sales have already occurred, and so we're kind of in this waiting period. The second reason is that until the committees really know, in terms of the Tokyo 2020 committee knows how many fans are going to be able to be there, they're not going to go ahead and sell additional tickets, and that time frame is April or May when those tickets would potentially be offered. But number 3, there are still some tickets out there. So for example, if you're a resident of the United States, you can go to cosport.com, select USA, and they do have selections of tickets there, and some are popping up over time, whether they're ones that got returned, whether they're returned from fans, or possibly national NGBs or national associations where they have fans or people who they're going to take that aren't going to be able to go. So we see those pop up from time to time. So if you're looking to start building your itinerary, you can do that, but realize that the majority of the itinerary, should they allow full fans to go to Tokyo 2020 next summer, we really won't see those hit the market until April or May timeframe. Let's move on to number 4. The Olympic rings have returned to Odaiba Marine Park, and I think that's really exciting. When they first arrived a little over a year ago, it drove a lot of excitement because wherever you were around Tokyo Bay, you could really see, you could see the rings. And I think anytime you see the rings, and I remember seeing them, whether it's London, Rio, or Pyeongchang, the ones that I've been to, and going there in advance, seeing they're like, the Olympics are coming. They took them away for maintenance a few months back, and now they brought them out actually in the past week. And now if you are in Tokyo, you can see that. And so I think it brings a little bit of hope and a little bit of excitement as we look towards next summer about the possibility of Tokyo 2020. Let's move on to number 5. In some really important news, Team USA announced on Thursday that they will not be sanctioning athletes, which previously they would have been sanctioned under Rule 50 for protesting of social and racial injustice that is done respectfully. I think this is a major development, and we're going to be hearing more about that because just because the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee have done that, still we have to have the International Olympic and International Paralympic committees basically agree to similar types of principles for athletes that have the potential to not be punished. A kind of third leg for that is whether or not some of the sponsors that athletes will have will also either let them out or actually add clauses to their contracts which would allow that. But in terms of the ability for athletes to protest both social and racial injustices, it's a big step forward today in that announcement from the USOPC, which is happening today, Thursday, which is the day I'm recording it. That's it for this week on Tokyo 2020. I'm looking forward to keeping you updated each and every week. Also, one of the other things I'm going to be doing very shortly is some how-to guides around tickets and some other things that as we look over the next 8 months, if you're getting new, if you're thinking about going to Tokyo 2020, things that might help you plan a little bit more. All right, have a great week.